piano when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I had this teacher that, as far as I can remember, she was really popular. She had lots of students, but she didn't. I remember her as being kind of the mean teacher, with like kind of a ruler to smack my hands if I did things wrong, and kind of that stereotype of the old lady with curlers in her hair that's doesn't want you around, and whatever. So I did that from 7 until about 10, and at 10 years old we moved to a new place, and I kind of decided that I didn't really think I was a musician. I thought I'm not very good at this. It's not my thing. But when I almost turned 11, I went over to a friend's house and saw this bizarre contraption in his basement, which is a bunch of like kind of round things kind of stuck together with metal poles, and I said to him, "What's that?" He said, "Those are drums." So, "What do you do with them?" And he said, "You hit them." I said, "Well, that's cool. I can't hit anything in my house." And so I naively asked him to teach me how to play the drums, thinking that would be, sort of a 5-minute thing, like you learn to, skip a rope or something. So he showed me, he started to show me how to play. And that moment was very pivotal for me in learning to love music. So at 11 years old, from 11 until about 15, I tried about 15 different instruments, and eventually settled on playing the guitar, drums, and piano. At that time, I got a fantastic piano teacher. When I kind of discovered that I loved music, I got a piano teacher as well. But the contrast between my previous piano teacher, and for the record, I don't remember her name, but if you're watching this, you probably weren't a horrible teacher. But what I've come to realize, because she had lots of students, so what I've come to realize is that she probably just wasn't the right fit for me as a student. We just weren't a good fit for each other. But what I found is that was really successful for me in the teacher that I had, the piano teacher that I had from 11 years on, as well as that drum teacher, is that I really connected with them personally. I felt like they cared about me as a person, and they were really inspiring to me musically. And so, both of those people to me are everybody kind of has like people that put these building blocks in place for the direction of their lives, and those teachers were both like that for me. I think all of my musical milestones that I can think of that are really memorable for me, this is more of a personal thing, they were more like creative in nature. Like when I first picked up the guitar, the day I picked up the guitar, I wrote a song on it. Now, I don't remember that song, probably because I wanted to forget it. I don't imagine that it was any good. And in hindsight, I think it actually was I think the guitar was even out of tune, because I remember somebody teaching me how to tune it after I wrote the song. So for me, they've always been more creative in nature. I remember the first time that I I've been writing I had a prolific period in my life at about 18 years old, and I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, which is like the kind of mecca of one of the meccas in U.S. Of music and world labels and everything. So I remember while I was there, I had a very prolific period of writing, and I got to go record in a studio for the first time, which is a bigger deal than it is now, because we've got I've got 3 devices that can record pretty good quality stuff. But back then it was like you kind of needed to go to a studio to record decent quality songs. And so a friend of mine had some contacts. I was able to get into a great studio and record 6 songs. And so for me, that was a milestone. I got to record great music, or at least I felt like it was great. share it with friends and family. I even sold a few. So there was things like that. I got to, tour Europe with a band. Um, yeah, those are the largest things for me that I worked towards and really were milestones. And that's again taking from my experiences of things that were really positive for me. That the school just tends to kind of follow that path, and so a lot of our teachers work with students to help them write. Now, if a student's not interested, it's not like a forced thing, but a lot of students love the idea of being able to have that creative outlet of writing a song. And so we've done various recording projects with students, as well as just having them perform songs at our recitals and music jams throughout the year. I love music, and so I listen to new artists all the time. I got to tell you, one of my favorite bands, and I'm not sure whether they believe me when I say this. I think they think I'm just being nice, but a couple of the teachers here at the school, Kane Enders is a drummer, and Michael Cumbledge is a guitar teacher. They're in this band called Hello Dynamo, and they are they're really awesome live. They're really catchy, intelligent music, and so I've been listening to them, their music quite a bit. They've got some great YouTube videos that of them playing live, which is awesome. But I'm really into this kind of new soul kind of sound. Coming from artists like The Roots. I really like Erykah Badu. But I also like kind of folk in the rock stuff too. It depends on the mood that I'm in. I really love City and Color. I mean, it's apparently not a very masculine band to like, but I love them. I think Dallas Green, who's the primary guy there, is a great songwriter, and his voice gives me chills. I mean, he's got such a smooth voice. So I really love City and Color. I'm really into Bon Iver, or as non-French Canadians call him, Bon Iver. He's again, that's like kind of a guy / group. I'm not sure what they are, but his music is different than what I usually listen to, in that I really like very simple melodies. I like things that are a little bit more minimalistic, which is partly why I like City and Color. Their old stuff is just an acoustic and and voice. Whereas Bon Iver, especially his new album, is like very orchestrated, and it's very complex, and the arrangements are like, you can tell he sat down for a week to figure out what he was going to do for each song. But it's just done so elegantly that I'm still really drawn to it. But you ask me tomorrow, I'll have 3 different bands, but or artists, but yeah, those guys I'm really into at the moment.